Like, you can send us dogs.
Send us a dog.
We won't like it.
This is what you need to do. Put a dog in the mail. We'll give you our P.O. box.
It's none of our business. 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 It's none of our business.
Hey, welcome to the It's Really None of Our Business podcast with Monica and Amanda.
This is a show where we open a cheap bottle of wine and we're going to attempt to solve the problems of the world.
And let's start with a question from one of our viewers.
That's right. Our good friend of the show wanted to know, we've mentioned on the show before that we both don't like dogs.
Yes.
It is what it is. I'm not ashamed. I'm quite proud of my feelings. But he wants us to objectively talk about how wonderful dogs are.
Which we can't.
You know what? I can and I will. I said I would. I'm going to do it.
All right.
I see the appeal.
Tell me what the appeal is, because
Certain-
I think that you actually like dogs more than me.
Yeah, they're growing on me. And I'll tell you why. It's because I see the amount of joy they give certain people. Do I need that kind of dog in my life? Do I need joy from a pet? No. But I see why people love that like loyal thing that's always by their feet that shows them love and whatever. I don't need love. I have love. I love myself.
You know what I see? Like, I know people say, oh, dogs, they love you unconditionally, and they're so great. But you know what I see? I see is something else that needs something from me. That's what I see. Because you need to touch them. They always want to, like,
They need to go for walks.
Yeah, I know, but even I like walking. I like walking on could walk a dog, but they run away. They're
When
needy.
you're walking, they pull, and then depending on the dog, they bark at other dogs, and you have to pull them back.
We're gonna lose so many viewers over this. Like, you know, we have like at least 10 viewers, and
Yeah, I'm sorry if you guys are now think differently of us because of this, but it's not gonna change. We are who we are.
We can't help it, and
No.
and maybe it would help if we had dogs. Have you ever had a dog?
No. Well, as a kid, I think we had a dog for a short period. Literally don't even remember its name or where it went. So I don't know. I should probably ask my parents what happened to that dog.
So Greg loves dogs. And one of the reasons I fell in love with him was because he's allergic to them. So I'm like, you're allergic to dogs and cats? This is fantastic. Because the last thing I want is some stinky dog.
That's how I feel too. Like, we just got this beautiful new couch too. I don't let the kids eat on it, nothing. But if we had a dog, of course we're gonna let the dog on the couch. You can't gnaw. I'm not an animal abuser.
Yeah.
I'm like, the dog will destroy it. The dog stinks. I go to my friend's house with dogs and I'm like, I don't mind.
Their house smells.
I used to not even pet dogs. I used to be like,
I don't.
I'm at the point now where if I see a dog, I actually don't mind petting it if it's a well-behaved dog. Like, people who know how to train their dogs properly, it's like what we were talking about last episode about people who are good at things.
Yeah.
I have a friend who's like a really good dog trainer. His dog is like the best. And I actually have a lot of respect for that. And I look at that dog and I go, I could get behind having a dog like this in my life. But the thing is I don't want to put any of the effort into training a dog.
Yeah.
Kirsten goes, well, that's why you pay someone. I don't want to. I already have 2 kids. Like you said, I have enough things to take care of. I take care of 2 little kids.
It's so interesting, though, because, you know, you can make this argument with children about they're needy, because children are way more needy, and they're stinky, and they're stupid. And you can't put them down if you don't like them. You can't just take them to the SPCA and put your kids to sleep.
No, you can't.
You have to keep them. But we both love kids, and so
true.
There's some kind of disconnect there, you know?
Yeah, it honestly, since I had kids, like I've said, I'm becoming more of a nurturing person. So dogs have grown on me a little more since I've had kids, because I feel that love that you can have for something else that I never used to give a shit about, that kids changed in me. But
do you think maybe that we're psychopaths or something? Like, do you think that that's what draws us together?
I honestly think I'm just so happy with myself that I don't want the love of a stinky pet. Like,
me too. I don't want love of a stinky pet either.
My really good friend had a dog for 10 years. It just passed away like a month ago. And she's like, my house feels so weird without a dog. And I'm like, what? like a dog in my house would feel weird, you know?
You know,
Like,
it is a different language, and
there's people who can't live without dogs. They're like,
yeah.
she's already dog hunting. Like, they're going to
Yeah.
get a new one right away.
I have those friends too, and when I tell my friends, like I have some friends that love animals, love them more than anything
Yeah.
else, and when they know, like some of these people I've been friends with for 20 years, and they tell me like when I heard you didn't like dogs, I was almost gonna write you off, and then they didn't
Because people think of us as like, how you must have no heart, or
yeah.
we need somebody here to be discussing with us this.
We need a psychiatrist or something to tell us like why do we feel this way?
Karsten's cousin was listening to our podcast, and she was saying, you know, sometimes I listen and I disagree with you guys, and you guys both agree. You guys need to have the opposite opinion.
I think we disagree a lot.
Well, that's what I told her. I said, you need to listen to more episodes because we actually do disagree a lot of the time. But I think this is one of those situations that people are probably yelling at if you're in your car, you're going, this is why you should love dogs.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to tell you. Like, write in.
Whatever the reason is, we're not going to change our mind. Like,
no, that's...
Like, you can send us dogs.
Send us a dog.
We won't like it.
This is what you need to do. Put a dog in the mail. We'll give you our P.O. box.
Although puppies are kind of nice.
No, the puppies are annoying. I like a well-trained dog that sits by my feet and like...
Is that how you like your man, too?
Yes. And like my kids. That's why Colton annoys me so much, because he's not well-trained. We've been over this full circle.
I get it. I'm like, I'm fully understanding you
well-behaved things that just sit there and don't need anything from me and don't do anything. I was getting my hair done the other day, and we were just talking about... Because Carson was home with the kids. It was it was a 4-hour appointment, and she goes, "Is your husband good with the kids?" I was like, "Yeah, like I don't like he's good." Like
that question even makes me mad.
Some parents, and back when my kids were babies, I did it to myself, but I was like, I can't be away from them.
Yeah, I was that way too.
But anyways, I was like, whatever. The kids are having a blast without me. It's Friday night, and the kids have dad all night. Like, they're having a party, and we kind of got into the conversation about how I don't like playing with my kids. And I was,
this is like 2 strikes for you.
I was like, I don't want to be. It's true, actually.
You know what, Amanda? Nobody likes playing with their kids.
Boys do. Karsten loves it. And so
Really?
I'm sitting there going, I don't want to be because Karsten's the fun parent. I said, I don't want to be the fun parent. I want you to eat your cucumbers and go to bed at a good time. And the hairstylist next to us was like, she stopped what she was doing and she's like, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I can't stop laughing at what you just said. Eat your cucumbers and go to bed at a decent time. I said, that's literally how I want to parent.
Exactly.
I don't want to be on the floor playing with you. I don't. That's what Karsten's for.
You know, for me, I didn't want to play with my kids either. I didn't mind crafting with them. I loved being with my kids. I liked bike riding with my kids and walking with my kids, and let's go, like when they were young, like puddle jumping, let's put on our rubber boots. I am in.
I agree.
But if I have to be fucking Spider-Man, I can't. I just can't do it.
And even sometimes, like when we'll wrestle, or me and Kenna will dance or whatever, right? We have dance parties. I don't mind
Let's
that.
see.
For a short, you want to see some moves? I got moves. For a short period of time. But when they get all riled up, and next thing you know, they're literally bouncing off the walls, and I'm like, what did I do? Like, this is not worth it. Sit down and eat your fucking cucumbers.
That's your new tagline. Eat your cucumbers and go to bed.
Because that's the only vegetable my kids will eat. Well,
carrots. I bet you they eat carrots.
They do, yeah. And like there's a few other ones, but yeah, mostly cucumbers. Like if you have small kids and you don't have 47 cucumbers in your fridge at all time, I don't know what you're doing.
Oh, really? I don't remember doing that with
Your
my kids.
Probably ate normal food. Maybe it's just me.
They eat a lot of fruit. Like
fruit. Well, yeah, like kids will eat fruit, but you got to get because it's so sweet. Sometimes I'm like, you need to get a vegetable in you. Cucumbers.
Do they? Do they?
I don't know. I'm okay, you guys. I'm not a good parent.
Yes,
don't take my advice.
You don't. Well, okay. So you don't beat your kids.
Well, not if they're listening.
I'm still learning, Amanda, on parenting. Every time we podcast, I'm like, you do what?
Yeah, wait a minute. You're not supposed to beat your kids, Amanda.
Yeah.
No, I don't beat them.
No, you don't.
I just lightly tap them.
Oh, evil one.
Okay, what are we talking about today?
So I wanted to talk about something that happened to a girl that I know the other day, and she's a young girl. She's only 25. And it was just a couple days ago. She works as a waitress downtown. And so I'm going to just sort of paint you the picture of her living conditions. She lives in a basement suite in a house. So there's nobody upstairs. It's a big sign that says for rent on the upstairs. downstairs. She lives down there by herself, so she's got her own entrance. She goes downstairs.
Okay.
And she opened up her blinds at 1 o'clock in the morning because I don't know why she was opening up her blinds at 1 o'clock in the morning, but she just came home from work and there was a man standing there outside her window.
So what happened? Did he run away when he saw the blinds open?
He did. He ran away. And so she was totally freaked out. And I think that night she went to spend the night with a friend of hers because she was terrified. And then the next day she went outside and walked around and there's like footprints all the way around. And there's like a sheet dropped outside. So in her mind, she's like I said, she's like 25, 26 years old. She's thinking that they were going to use it to abduct her. Like, but I'm thinking, like, why would a peeping Tom have a sheet?
Why would a peeping Tom have a sheet? Was he a homeless guy? It was like part of his bedding?
No, like, I don't know. But anyways, that freaked her out.
Yeah.
And then the next day when she was leaving for work, she was walking outside to the front of the house and a woman drove up and just said, "Oh, that house is for rent or your place is for rent. Is there a man living upstairs?"
No way.
Yes. And so now she feels like she's being
Targeted.
That's
terrifying.
That is terrifying. So you're thinking, now she's called the police and they say, the only advice that they have to her is put some, those lights, those motion sensor lights. So as a 25-year-old girl living in a situation in a basement suite, like, how fucking terrifying. And there's nothing you can do to become safe now.
I don't know what kind of advice to give other than like move.
Yeah.
Like that, and that's really shitty. Like, it sucks to go through life as a woman, which is like people are probably rolling their eyes at that. But
no, it's like, okay,
guys don't realize
she's like 120 pounds.
Yeah.
She's 25 years old, and now she has a guy outside her window and a woman stopping to ask her if there's a man upstairs. Like,
even if
do not all your bells start ringing
totally
here?
And let's just say that she's just being paranoid and
let's just say
it was nothing. The lady was literally innocent and she imagined the guy. She probably didn't, but let's just say that doesn't matter. The fact she's still on the ground floor, you're still living your life. Like, I have no defense mechanism as a woman. Like, you really don't. Like, it's actually like, do you remember so we worked downtown back when the office was open. There was a story of the one girl who worked in our building who was walking to her car.
Yeah.
And a naked man ran up to her at 3 p.m. and grabbed her around her whole body and her arms were down by her side. And she's screaming. She literally couldn't do anything. This naked man at 3 p.m. has her and she's completely helpless.
Yeah.
And nobody around stopped or anything, which is like the most fucked up part of the story. But it's like, that kind of story got in my head so much because I took that same walk every single day.
Yeah.
And Kirsten was like, okay, you need to start carrying pepper spray or something. I'm like,
because there was crazy people outside that building
I know.
every day. Like, there was like a safe injection site near where we worked. And first of all, I believe in safe injection sites.
Yeah.
I think that they're necessary, but being a woman who's walking downtown with people that are mentally unstable,
naked, and it was cold. Like, it wasn't like middle of summer. I think it was like May or something.
Like, it is ridiculous that we're still living in an era, in an age where we feel unprotected as women and we can do nothing except for move. Like, that's our choice.
Well, that's the thing. And, so did you call the cops? It's like, sometimes you don't always have time to call the cops. And she was screaming at the restaurant that was close by. And the guy was just going, "We're not open." Like, pretty much saying, like, "I can't help you," sort of thing. And it's just crazy. So, and that was a situation where there was people around everywhere and nobody stopped to help her. Your person that you're talking about,
there's nobody to help you.
Literally nobody to help you. Because you always think, okay, well, if something happens, I can't really defend myself, but at least somebody will step up and help me. If you're by yourself in your house, how terrifying is that?
Yeah.
And you can learn let's go to a self-defense class. Like,
well, come on. Like I said, you're 120 pounds.
No, it's not going to do
like
anything.
How much, unless you've had 10 years of martial arts training, like.
And you freeze up in a situation like that too. You're not going to think to use it half the
time. Now, as Canadians, we don't carry guns. We don't have guns on our nightstand table
but I
like
don't
the
even
Americans
know if that
do.
would be the answer anyways.
I don't even think that would make me feel safe.
No, it wouldn't. Because you're
going
to be able to grab it in time. And like, I don't know, like people, maybe this guy's just a pervert. He doesn't want to hurt you. He just wants to jerk off and watch you. But like, I doesn't matter. That's terrifying.
It's terrifying.
I don't know what to say about that.
Well, I did tell her, you can come stay with me. We'll find you a place. Da, da, da. And she's off staying with friends, like friends her own age, because she doesn't want to hang out with the old lady.
Yeah.
But fucking terrifying.
It really is. I don't even know what to say about it other than like it makes me sad and scared because like there's lots of times I remember being on the train when I was younger, coming home from work or something. But actually I went to like I worked all day and then I went to school at night, so it was dark when I was coming home, and there was this guy obviously like on some sort of drug sitting on the train next to me, and he was like mumbling, reading the newspaper, and he was like, fucking bitch. And I could see him like kind of looking at
Holy
me,
shit.
and I felt like he was talking to me. Like, who knows if he was, but that was the vibe I was getting, that he was like calling me a fucking bitch as he's like flipping his newspaper or whatever. Fucking bitch, fucking cunt, like calling me all these names.
Probably schizophrenic.
Totally. Like something was going on in his head and he kept looking at me. And then I have to get off the train now and he's getting off at the same stop as me, and I'm walking to my car and all I'm thinking is like, oh fuck, what's gonna happen? Like, it's dark and it's late and there's nobody else around besides, and it ended up being fine. He went his way, I went my way.
But it could have went wrong.
And I remember getting on the train, coming home, and Carson's brother lived with us at the time, and he was the first person I saw after, and I was like, that was like horrible. Like, I just felt like I just had this feeling in me of like, I was like super helpless, and who the hell knows?
You know, I think every woman has this feeling.
And he goes, you need to be driving. Similar. And I said, well, I don't want to pay to park at the school because it was $20 a day or whatever. And he's like, I'll pay for you. Like, you shouldn't be taking the train at night. And the fact that you can't feel safe to be out in public, like guys
when will that change? Like, will that ever change?
Never. I don't think it'll ever change.
You know, it's interesting because Greg often goes away for business. And so I'm home alone sometimes for a week at a time. And I do things like lock my bedroom door, sleep with my pajamas on.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, like I totally change like everything. Like, and all of a sudden I'm all of a sudden afraid.
Really? Even in your own home, and you lock your bedroom door?
Yeah. So normally, you know, like I've got Greg around, and I
you feel a lot safer when he's there.
Like,
interesting.
And because I know that he's going to something.
He's your big protector.
Yeah.
It's like your Rip from Yellowstone.
Yeah, it is.
I definitely.
But do you feel like that? Like
I do, but I don't go to like if Carson's not home, I'm not. I don't know. I don't lock my bedroom door. The only time I lock my bedroom door is if I'm having sex and I don't want the kids to walk in.
Oh, we don't lock our bedroom door. No kids are gonna walk in.
Except for me, I'll be like, Monica.
Well, then you might just see something. You might learn a few new tricks.
Oh, I could. Should we do a wine and what the fuck?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Do it. First, I'm gonna drink this wine.
Woo. Me. All right, everybody, it's time for our favorite segment, wine and what the fuck.
And today's wine, we are presenting this lovely wine called Naked Grape. Another truly expensive wine that I have for you today, Amanda.
I think when I think of cheap wine, this is the brand that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Like this, how much? $6?
No. The last bottle, like last week was $6. This one was like $10.
$10 you spend on Naked Grape?
I did. It got ripped off?
Let's try it. Let's see.
Right.
Okay. It says it's a luscious red. Let's see if it's luscious. Cheers me this
All right.
time.
Woo!
Okay. It tastes luscious.
It tastes luscious.
That's very nice.
Okay, once again, like our scale rating being throw up, meaning like
you think you're being poisoned.
And being poisoned. That would be like a 1.
Yeah.
And 10 being, oh my god, this makes me
I think
wet
we got
and cream
a 4
my
or
pants.
5 again.
This is definitely, we'll give it a 4.2. Like, it's not even worthy of a 4.5.
Okay, fair enough.
It's cheap and fine. It's cheap and fine for
all
of you.
Next time, because the tagline of our show is we want to open a cheap bottle of wine.
Yeah.
But, you know, I've kind of been dabbling into the more expensive. Maybe next week we'll do something a little on the pricier side and we'll see. Like maybe if we do $15, $16, $17 bottle.
Oh, yeah.
Is it worth it?
It's totally worth it. You know, Greg and I, like, there's this wine that I love and it happens to be $50. And so we'll often go to the store. They sell it at Costco and he buys 2 of them. Like they're the same brand of wine. It's like I can't even remember the fucking name. It's an Italian wine.
Yeah.
Anyways, there's one that's 35 and there's one that's 50. And he says, I'm like, oh, we can't afford the $50 wine. Let's not do it. And he does it anyways. And then I insist on picking up the $30 bottle of wine too, which is the second one, the next one down. And then every time I go to open up the bottle of wine, I'm like, is this the expensive one or the cheap one? He's like, oh, it's the cheap one. And then I open it up, I'm like, oh, it's so good. It's the expensive one. And he's like, yeah, it's the expensive one. Like, I can tell it is like, it's such a difference.
Yeah. I think I'm starting to learn
Amarone. That's the brand name.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
good to know.
makes me a little wet just thinking about it. Like, that's how I feel about that wine.
A good red wine. It just makes me feel so good. Okay. What's our what the fuck?
All right, let's do it. Like, wow, we're not going to sit there and talk about shit for half an hour like we normally
We're
do.
trying to get, we're getting this podcast streamlined. We want you guys to really enjoy these shows.
This is a very serious one, so hang on here. As
I'm
usual. Yeah. Am I the asshole for not wanting to hand express my breast milk for my mom's friend's cat?
Cat? What? Okay. Go on.
My mother always wants me to fix very random issues she or her friends are having and is convinced I'll have a solution to whatever the problem is. I suppose it's kind of a compliment because she believes I think outside the box and I'm good at problem solving. Anyways, it came downstairs this morning and my mom says to me, so my friend's cat has an ear infection, and I instantly know this somehow has to be my issue. And I ask her, and how do you want me to fix this? And she replies, well, do you think you could donate some breast milk? Like, first of all, I don't know how breast milk's gonna help.
Breast milk solves everything. Like, people use it for dry skin. So
Really? Do you got any?
I don't have any breast milk left, but at the time, anyways, go on.
Anyways, my daughter recently started spending more time at her dad's, so sometimes I got engorged and I had to hand express in the shower. So if that was the case, sure, why not? But my daughter is with me and also over a year, so she keeps me bone dry. In all honesty, I could have been more polite when I responded, but I was so taken aback and I just said, let me get this straight. You want me to hand express my breast milk into a cat's ear? And my mom was like, you could have just used a jar or something. And me, you really want me to hand express my breast milk for a cat's ear infection? No, because it's obviously a problem for you, said her mom, and that's how she left it. And so she wants to know if she's the asshole for not donating her breast milk for the cat.
It's so funny. Like, I think the bigger conversation here is, like, parents who feel that way about their kids. When Carson's mom moved...
Like, what do you mean, feel that way?
That they need to... Their kid is a commodity that they can use as currency.
Like you do as I want? Or what do you
No,
mean?
like, I don't have anything to offer except for my child services. Let me give you a few examples. Carson's mom is the best. We love her. But she moved into this place and there's other people kind of living on the same property. And they have random needs. They need a pool put up. They need whatever done around the house. They need something moved from here to there. They need plumbing done. They need whatever it is. I have a son. My son can do these things. So as soon as she moves in, we're getting all these messages. Hey, do you want to come by the house and set up the pool? Carson's like, what? Like, no. Or, they need this moved from here to there. Can you come? And Carson's going, how am I even involved in these other people's lives?
Yeah.
And we kind of started realizing that, I think she's doing it because she wants to help.
Because Carson is the only commodity that she's got.
Yeah.
She doesn't have any money.
Well, and it's like, this is how she's helping. She's like, well, I have a son with these skills and, why wouldn't I just offer it? Like, because he can probably help. And fine, if he didn't have anything to do, he can go help upset at the pool.
So would you pimp out your kids?
Well, I don't know. They're so young. It's hard to really like imagine. Like, do your, I don't know.
I would never.
No.
Like for instance, Johnny is in third year electrical, whatever. I would never say, oh, my son Johnny can do that. Never.
Well, it's kind of, that's the thing is like, there's been so many times there's something that she needs. Like one of my clients has this thing that needs to be moved from A to B or whatever. It's like, hey, do you mind coming to do it? And he always says yes, because it's his mom. He's going to help her.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, it's starting to become kind of funny. It's like, okay.
Well, I think his mom was kind of cute then because
Yeah.
obviously she loves
I thi-
Karsten.
I think
and
that's what it is. It's more of a like. I hate to say he's like a commodity, but it's like sort of. You know
yeah,
what
it
I
kind of
mean?
is.
And it's like she's just proud of him and whatever. But it's like sometimes you don't realize it's like, well, he's got a whole bunch of. He's running a business. He's got a family. He doesn't have time to go set up a pool.
I
Like,
think that if you can look at it that way and go, "Oh, my mom loves me," and
yeah.
and I'm the only thing that she can be proud of. Like, I think if you can look at it that way, good for you. But a lot of people would be like, "Fuck that! I'm too fucking busy," and just
Yeah.
resent it.
I think what's happening with the cat ear infection lady is probably a similar situation. Like the way that she prefaced the beginning of it, saying,
Yeah.
it's always me who has to solve these problems. Like, oh,
Yeah.
how am I supposed to fix this one? It's probably, she's like, okay, another thing. And that just happens to be the weirdest one. I don't know why when a cat has an ear infection, your first thought would be breast milk.
So what do you know about breast milk? It's supposed to be the cure for everything.
Well, yeah, like I remember when you had like cracked nipples from your baby like
Oh
sucking
my
on them. You're supposed to
God.
rub the breast milk on and
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, it helps heal them. Or even there was a Keeping Up with the Kardashian episode. Kim had psoriasis or something and she was stealing Courtney's breast milk to rub on there. Breast milk is supposed to have healing properties, but for a different species, like I don't really understand how it would fix a cat's ear infection.
I remember reading this thing. It was like, and I seen it. It was like something on YouTube, and there was a bodybuilder, and he wanted human breast milk for bodybuilding because he thought it would become stronger.
Protein.
So he would buy it, and I just like, there's something that it just feels like so gross to me that a bodybuilder is buying human breast milk. Like, and I don't know why that's gross.
Can I ask you what your opinion on wet nursing is? So like that would
it's
be
fine.
nursing somebody else's
Yeah,
baby. You think that's fine?
Yeah,
But you don't want an adult drinking it.
I don't know, to me, it just like it's repulsive to me to think that there's an adult drinking like
Why
breast
is it
milk.
okay
I
for an
don't
adult to drink
know.
cow milk? I think that's gross.
That's gross too.
Yeah,
But
okay.
like I totally understand. Like if you, like I don't think that people should be selling their milk to other people or anything because you don't know what you're getting.
Totally.
Right? But if you and your sister are both pregnant and you can't nurse and she can and she wants to nurse your baby, like great.
Yeah.
Or take up the slack or whatever.
Yeah.
Fine.
Or donating if you have an oversupply of milk. I think that's like a beautiful thing to do.
Yeah.
Formula was invented for a reason. Like there's nothing wrong with formula, I don't think. But there's lots of extra nutrients in breast milk and all that stuff.
There is. Yeah.
Breast milk is great. I breastfed
How long
both my kids.
did you breastfeed your kids?
Colton 11 months because I was going back to work and I was like I should probably stop before I'm not home all the time with him.
Yeah.
And McKenna after 10 months because I went on a little vacation with Karsten and I didn't pump often enough and I just lost my supply.
Yeah, like done.
But I was like I didn't want to stop that early, but I didn't really have a choice because I just wasn't pumping enough and I lost it, which is what happens with your body. But it was okay because I was like I'm going back to work in a couple months anyway, so it was fine.
It feels fine at that point. You feel like you're done.
I remember
don't you?
coming back to work though after my first, like Colton, and our boss was like asking about breastfeeding, and I said, I stopped around 11 months or something, and she was grossed out by me and made me feel like a pervert for going that long. And I remember like
What?
It was like my welcome back lunch, and I remember walking back to the office with like our coworkers who are both men who have wives who have had kids, and I was like, "Am I weird?" And they're like, "No, she's weird." I'm like, "Okay, good," because I'm like, breastfeeding's not creepy.
Okay,
like,
I breastfed Johnny until he was 3.
yeah, you're a pervert.
Yeah, I'm a pervert.
I don't like. It's different when you're nursing a baby, and I get a 3-year-old. If you just start nursing a 3-year-old, that would be weird. But the fact that you never stopped, it's not weird. It's like that's.
Well, it becomes your bonding thing. And this
Yeah.
would be like, by the time he was 3, it was like the middle of the night, him crawling into bed with you thing.
Yeah.
And at that point, I'm like, I'm so fucking done.
Yeah.
But I had this idea that he would just stop on his own.
That didn't happen. How did you finally get him to stop?
I said they were broken.
And did he listen?
And he was like, he would cry and he'd be like, that's, he was mad and
Yeah.
broken,
Aw.
But it didn't take long. But you get to a point where you just feel like fucking stop touching them. They're
Yeah.
mine. Because when you're breastfeeding they're no longer sexual, right? Like your
Not at
your
all.
breasts are non-sexual, absolutely 100%. But they're bigger and they're rounder,
Yeah.
and your partner's like,
Yeah.
and you're like, don't
Don't
touch
touch
breakfast.
them. 100%.
Right?
Like these things. Remember, like the first time they got like super engorged, like that time, where you didn't get to feed for whatever reason, and I'm like, these are porn star boobs. Like they're so circle and like, oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Breastfeeding is a crazy situation. I actually, part of me I have a couple friends who just had babies, and I saw them recently, and they're both nursing on the couch, and I'm like,
it's
part
nice.
of me misses that.
Yeah,
Like it's
I
such
get
a
that.
nice bonding thing where you just like feel this, like you can feel it like nourishing your child. It's like such a good
And not
feeling.
only that, your baby's looking up at you, and they're like touching
that little like
you.
bit of like milk dribbles out their mouth, and you're like, oh, you're so beautiful.
You got all those stupid hormones pumping through your body.
And there's some people though that like are no, absolutely not. I will never nurse. I'm not into it.
They feel like that, like we do about dogs.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Don't put breast milk in a cat's ear.
That is the bottom line. Don't do it. Don't feel guilty. They can just go to the vet and get antibiotics.
Like, that's so strange. I think that mom is fucking weird.
Yeah.
Anyways, thanks for tuning in to the It's Really None of Our Business podcast.
Yeah, join us on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and all the pod places.
You should subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go on and click the little notification bell, and that'll alert you anytime there's a new video. I put clips up all the time, so you don't have to watch the whole video. You can just watch clips of us saying funny shit.
And tell your friends.
Yeah. Share it on your Instagram story. If you're listening to this, screenshot it, share it on your story, and tag us. We would love to see that.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in to It's Really None of Our Business podcast with Monica and Amanda. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, you know all the places. If you've enjoyed this podcast, tell your friends, and please rate and review us where you can. If you are brave enough to reach out and ask us for advice, we will definitely read it out on our show. We'll totally keep your name anonymous, so what do you got to lose? You can reach us by email at ask.noneofourbusiness@gmail.com. Looking forward to hearing from you guys soon. Ciao.